Hi, I'm Louise from Superhigh, and in this video I'm going to explain how to make fonts work for different languages. When creating websites with a worldwide audience, there's often a need to support multiple languages at once. This can bring up a few interesting issues to solve. For example, some languages are written left to right, some are written right to left, and others are written top to bottom. So it can be tricky to make your user interface display these correctly. Another thing to consider is that languages often contain different characters from completely separate alphabets. Even within the same alphabet, some languages use diacritical marks like accents, which, when missing, can completely change the meaning of words. For that reason, it's important to check that the font you're using supports the language you want to display. A good way to do this is by looking at a font's glyphs. Let's take a look at an example in CodeSandbox. Here I've got a basic static site set up, including a HTML file, index.html, and a style sheet already connected up. Inside our HTML we have some multilingual text using a mixture of English and Arabic, which at the moment is displaying incorrectly. A quick way of fixing this would be to add a meta charset to the head of our file. I'm going to go ahead and paste this at the top. This charset or character set, known as UTF-8, contains all the encoding for characters in natural languages, as well as all other non-language symbols. And we can see that the Arabic text, once I hit save, changes from these odd-looking characters to the default font used by your browser. But the default Arabic font now looks jarring next to the other text. The best way to handle a project that may need to display multiple languages is simply to find a font that supports multiple languages. An example is Noto Sans. Noto Sans is a global font collection for writing in all modern and ancient languages. To check if a font you're using supports a certain language, you can use the Google Fonts Languages drop-down menu and select the language you need to support. If I pick Arabic, you can see that lots of fonts actually support Arabic. I'm going to find Noto Sans and let's add it to our selection. To do that, I'm going to click on it and scroll down and select Regular 400. Now, before I go and add this to our project, we're actually going to need a different version of Noto Sans for our English text. So I'm going to head back to the main Google Fonts page and find plain Noto Sans. This version of Noto Sans contains support for many languages. If I scroll down to the bottom of the page, we can see a list of supported languages for this family. And you can see that there are many languages inside of this font. Okay, I'm going to select Regular 400 here too and go ahead and add it to our selection. And let's quickly add this to our project by following the instructions given in the sidebar. First, I'm going to copy and paste the text from the first box into the head of our document. Okay, great. And now, as we've got two fonts here, we need to figure out how to get these to display correctly. If we look at what's recommended by Google Fonts, we can see that they suggest two font families, and this is great for applying the font to different areas of your site. But for this purpose, there's actually an easy way to combine the two. I'm going to create a font stack with both Noto Sans and Noto Sans Arabic. And to do this, I'm going to copy the first font family and paste it into the body property of my CSS. Okay, so now I'm going to add Noto Sans Arabic just after Noto Sans. So, being careful to add a comma after the closing quotation mark of Noto Sans Arabic. As each font contains support for different glyphs, when the Arabic symbols can't be found in Noto Sans Arabic will then be used as a fallback to display them instead. I'm going to hit Command or Control and S to save now, and you'll notice the site looks a lot better, but the Arabic text should really display right to left. To get this to display properly, I'm going to head back to the HTML and find the opening bracket of the paragraph tag that contains the Arabic text. To change the direction that this text is displayed in, I'm going to write DIR, which stands for direction, then an equal sign, then quotation marks, and RTL, which stands for right to left. I'm then going to hit save, and amazing, you can see that the text now shifts to be displayed correctly. So remember, when supporting more than one language on your site, it's important to find a font or multiple fonts that can display these properly in order to be as user-friendly as possible.